Hello, my D&D players. This is your DM speaking, and this is the beginning of the promised videos to walk you through the process of leveling up your characters. I know some of you are as low as level 11, and so as a result, today we're going to talk about going from level 11 up to level 15. Okay, so 12, 13, 14, and 15 is what we're going to tackle. Okay, now I made sure to share the link to my Google Drive with all of the ebooks. Okay, so I shared that on the Facebook page and I shared it on Discord, so you should have that. But if for whatever reason that eluded you, let me know and I'll be sure to send that to you again. Alrighty, so let's take a look here. This is Player Handbook 1. We're going to be spending most of our time in here, but you should know that the other player handbooks, as far as like what to do with the class and things like that, the other player handbooks are supplemental. They're just they're built very much like this one. The martial power, for example, also built very similarly. You'll just find the class that you're building or the particular build of that class and find the powers that you're looking for in the Paragon Path features and stuff. Okay, so what am I talking about? Well, let's look at that. If you go to page 29 in the player handbook, you're definitely want to get used to seeing this. This will walk you through the level up process. Okay, it breaks down. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. It breaks down everything that you should have at each level. So going from 11 to 12, you will gain 1 Paragon Path utility power, 1 feat. It breaks down how many feats you should know and how many at-will powers, encounters, dailies, and utility powers. Okay, and just as a reminder, this is the character sheet. By the way, if you want to print a new one, you can find it in the back of Player Handbook 1. Okay, so here's your second sheet, and here's your at-will powers, encounters, dailies, and utilities. Okay, so I recommend getting a sheet of scratch paper and just writing this down. So write level 12 because that's the first step. Okay, and it's missing one thing that I'm about to point out right now, and that is that at every level your class will give you hit points as well. So let's use Ranger for example, because I'm pretty sure 2 of you building are Rangers. Okay, so if you go to page 103, you'll find the Ranger block here, and note how it says hit points per level gained 5. Okay, now this is different for each class, but Rangers at least get 5 hit points per level. So on your scratch paper, write level 12, 5 hit points. Okay, if you're building a Ranger at least. If you're not, look up your class in the corresponding player handbook and figure out how many hit points per level you get. Okay, so 5 hit points, and let's go back to page 29. You get 5 hit points and a Paragon Path utility power and 1 feat. Okay, so Paragon. If you go down past all of your powers, you'll find Paragon Paths. And this is just a way of, once you get up to level 11, up through 20, the Paragon Path is like the next tier of hero that you are, and it helps you define your character a little bit more, and it also gives you extra features, extra powers and things like that that complement that definition. Okay, so let's say you were building a battlefield archer, for example. You would get these, which are almost like feats. They give you extra bonuses, okay, extra abilities, and then at level 11, you would have picked up the correlating encounter power as well with that Paragon Path. Well, at level 12, you're going to pick up this utility power, which, again, as a reminder, goes here. All right? And, also wanted to point out on your character sheet, the three tiers are heroic, which, you know, when you first pick your class, you're writing down your class features. When you pick your paragon path, it goes here, and when you pick your epic destiny, it goes here as well. Okay, that's what that part of the character sheet is for. All right, so yeah, you pick up hit points, you pick up your utility power, that's your paragon path utility power, and you pick up a feat. Feats are found in chapter 6. All right, and if you keep scrolling, you'll see a whole bunch of heroic tier feats. All right, now remember, heroic tier is level 1 through 10. So if there are heroic tier feats, guess what? There's also paragon tier feats, which give you even greater abilities. Okay, for example, look at this agile athlete. It allows you to roll twice with acrobatics and athletics checks, which is really handy. Okay, or combat anticipation, +1 to defenses against ranged, area, and close attacks. So yeah, these will definitely give you a power bump. So while you can pick from the heroic tier still, and some of those are still very good, I strongly encourage you to check out the paragon tier as well, because you'd probably benefit from those even better. And of course, there are prereqs to these, and some of them are specifically for certain races or classes, things like that. Also, Player Handbook 2 and 3 have some feats that are related specifically to the classes or races therein as well. So that's something to check out. Alright, so that covers level 12. We gained hit points, we gained a utility feat, or a utility ability, and or power, utility power, and a feat. Okay, so that's what you should have on your scratch sheet. Now let's go back to page 29. I don't know why this ebook reader keeps confusing 72 with 29. Alright, great. Now, level 13 is really simple. We're just going to replace an encounter attack power. You notice the number of encounters doesn't change, right? It just puts a little star because one is replaced. So let's go back. Like I said, we're using Ranger as kind of an example. Go to level 13 here. These are the level 13 encounters. You're going to select one of these and replace one of your encounters. Okay, so here you should have a list of encounter powers. Select one to erase and replace it with one of these more powerful abilities. Okay, and it doesn't get simpler than that, really. Now, for level 14, it's going to be a little bit... Oh, by the way, with level 13, you also gain hit points, so don't forget to write that down too. You replace an encounter, you gain hit points. Level 14 is a big one. You're going to gain hit points, so write that down. Then you also gain an additional ability point on 2 of your abilities. So that's these. Okay, so let's say you had 19 strength. You could bump it up to 20, and that would affect your ability mods, mod plus half level, defenses, all sorts of stuff, related skills. Okay, but you pick 2 of these and you bump it up by 1. So hit points, bump up 2 ability scores. Okay, what else? You gain a feat. All right, again, that's chapter 6, and don't forget there are paragon tier feats. All right. Level 15 is also very simple. You just replace 1 daily attack power. So you remember how we replaced an encounter attack power? Well, now we're going to go back to our class and look at the level 15 daily exploits. And we're going to select from one of these and replace one of our dailies. That's one of these. We're going to erase one and replace it with one of the more powerful level 15 abilities. Okay? So once that's all done, you should have 4 levels worth of hit points increase. All right, don't forget, if you're level 15, that affects your plus half level. Now we round down, We don't have half numbers. So 15 would count as 7 here. So let's say your strength score is 20, you subtract 10 and divide by 2. So your ability mod would be 5. So mod plus half level, half of 15, round down, would be 7. So 5 plus 7 is, this should be a 12. Okay? And in the same way, if half level here, this is 10 plus half level, so that would be 17, 17, 17. Okay? Pay attention where it says half level on your character sheet, because all of those will go up as a result. Okay? Also wanted to talk about enhancements. See this E and H? You'll see it on your defenses, your to hit, and your damage. Those we're going with just flat enhancement bonuses. So for those of you going up to level 30, you want a flat enhancement bonus of 6. So put 6 everywhere you see E and H, and those will be what you add up with the other numbers here to get your defenses and your to hit and damage and stuff like that. Okay. Now those of you going up to level 25, remember the boons that you were granted by the deities actually give you a flat enhancement bonus of 8. So you two would actually raise your enhancement up to 8 instead of 6. All right. The one other thing I wanted to talk about before I let you go is I want to talk about what if your character is built out of a different book. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Davlos, for example, is a ranger, and you would look at the ranger section in Player Handbook 1 for your hit point increase, but the build is actually a Beastmaster, which is out of Martial Power. So you want to look for Martial Power 1 specifically, and that's where you will find the new Ranger build. New builds, see? Hunter Ranger, Marauder Ranger, and Beastmaster. Oh, this is Martial Power 2. I was about to say, why am I not finding it? Here it is, Martial Power 1. So, let's see here. New fighter builds. New Ranger. Here we go. Beastmaster. And just like in Player Handbook, there are, there's some text that tells you about this particular take on this class. All right. You have a beast, which also gets stronger as you level up. So don't forget to look at that. Okay. They gain hit points, they gain attack, stuff like that based on your level. So keep that in mind. And then of course you have these attack powers as well. Your at-wills, encounters, so on and so forth. So let's scroll on down and look at your Paragon path, because yes, these different builds also have Paragon paths. Okay, so if you scroll past all the powers, you'll have these Paragon paths. I believe we made Davlos a feral spirit, but I'm not sure. So if you look here, it says this would be the attack power that you picked up when you selected the Paragon path, and then at 12 you would get this utility. Okay, you also get these additional bonuses at level 11, so write those down and what they do. All right, and then of course you would select from the powers above at certain levels. Okay, so and like I said, the Player Handbooks 2 and 3 and Martial Power 2, they all kind of do the same sort of thing. So if you're not sure where your class comes from, just shoot me a message and I'll fill you in. That's about all I've got for you. So happy building, and if you do have any questions, feel free to ask.